The deal between Russia and the USA in its present form defies all conventional understanding. The geopolitics of this situation is beyond logic, beyond reason. Trump, in his classic, somewhat bizarre style, invited Ukrainian President Zelensky to the White House and proceeded to do the unthinkable. With Vice President J.D. Vance by his side, Trump cornered Zelensky, not with diplomacy but with arrogance.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
Of the war,
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now.
As the drama unfolded, questions emerged. Why is the geopolitics changing in such a dramatic way? And why with all this tension? Is the situation worsening for India? We need to answer these questions if we are to understand the bigger picture.
You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred.
It wasn't just a diplomatic blunder, it was a spectacle. Trump, the former president, sat there with Zelensky not just as a political figure but as a puppet master, pulling strings behind the scenes. He insulted his ally in front of the entire media, a public humiliation no one saw coming. Why? Was it an attempt to provoke Zelensky into a reaction? Was it all part of the plan to undermine Ukraine's position on the world stage? And yet, not a single word was spoken about Putin's actions. Trump, ever the showman, refused to criticize the Russian leader, instead parroting the Kremlin's line. Why? Why was Zelensky, the leader of a country fighting for survival, made the villain in this political theater, while Putin was presented as a misunderstood figure? J.D. Vance, like a loyal sidekick, jumped into the fray, accusing Zelensky and Biden of failing to explore the path to peace.
It's rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong.
The media circus didn't stop there. After the press conference, the world seemed to erupt into chaos. Why was America, its so-called ally, treating Zelensky this way? The world, including leaders within America, questioned Trump's loyalties. Democrats slammed him, accusing him of being Putin's pet. It was a shocking turn of events. It wasn't just about politics anymore. It was about principles, alliances, and trust. After all, Zelensky had led his country into the phase of Russian aggression. He had been at the front lines of one of the most brutal wars of the 21st century. But this was more than just political theater. The economic implications of this rift are enormous. Trump, it seems, was pushing for a deal, a multi-billion-dollar mineral deal with Zelensky. The stakes were high, and when that deal fell through, Trump's anger became all too visible. In the aftermath, Trump didn't just blame Zelensky, he blamed the entire situation on the Ukraine's failure to meet his terms.
A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Gotta move fast.
Trump had lied to the world, claiming the US had sent $350 billion to Ukraine. The actual figure, around $180 billion, with 70% of that funding going directly into the coffers of American defense companies. European countries, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, they all rallied behind Zelensky, rejecting Trump's approach. Journalists were stunned. What they saw in that press conference had never been witnessed before in modern American politics. Now the cracks in the American empire are starting to show. What happens when the world's supposed protector turns his back on its allies? The consequences are global. With Putin growing stronger and China watching from the sidelines, the world is holding its breath. The West is fighting among itself while Russia and China grow bolder. India too finds itself caught in the middle. With America's newfound attitude, the balance of power is shifting. What happens when America no longer honors its promises? When dictators like Putin and Xi Jinping no longer fears reprisal? And as for Zelensky, he remains bold. He will not surrender. Not to Putin, not to Trump. The fight for Ukraine's survival continues. As we close this chapter, the world stands at a crossroads. Can Europe replace America as the world's protector, or will America turn its back entirely, leaving its allies to fend for themselves? The stakes have never been higher, and the answers are still unclear. In this changing world, India must decide how to navigate this new order. The future of geopolitics is no longer about truth. It's about power, deals, and dollars. The question now is not who is right, but who is strongest. And with that, the fate of the world rests in the hands of those willing to play the game. This is where we stand. The truth, the principles, and the alliances we once took for granted are being questioned, undermined, and destroyed. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, I'm sure you will love my previous video on DeepSeek. Please do consider watching that. And if you are new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. See you in the next video. Until then, this is Shayog signing off.